Good morning, students. It's me, Miss Sania, your Pakistan Studies teacher, and today we are starting with a new lesson. As you all know that we have completed major industries of Pakistan before. Now we are starting with Trade and Commerce Part 3, in which there are multiple factors which we are going to discuss. But let me tell you, this Part 3 is much more important because there were multiple questions into your past papers which were included from Part 3, and Part 3 plays in another sense, it plays a very important and major role because part 3 consists of constructive questions. How can I say that it consists of constructive questions? You will know further. But before moving forward, there are few guidelines which I have to tell you, which you have to follow in each and every homework. I know that you already know these guidelines, but for example, if you forget somewhere any one of these guidelines, so definitely it will add up into your information, and it would also help you in different aspects. So point number one, watch the video till the end to clear all your concepts. Write watched in the comment section on KP, it will automatically mark your attendance. Next point, take increasing responsibility for regularly completing and returning homework assignments. Next, write down all the important points of the lecture in your Pakistan Studies copy. Next, attempt all the MCQs and copy them in your notebook. It will help you in your papers. Next point, write down questions and then answer them in your notebook. Next, accurately record all your homework assignments. Next, clearly label with their title page and date. Next, for your index. Next, neatness of the assignment is mandatory. Next, clarify any doubt about an assignment on KP when it is due and how it should be completed. Kindly emphasize more on this point. When it is due, then you can ask your questions between these timings. Organize yourself with the appropriate material needed to fully complete the homework assignment. Next, learn to budget time, especially towards the completion of long term assignments. Next, return all work to the teacher by the date requested. Next, post your work on KP in the comments section, which is very important point. Kindly emphasize on this point. Next, questions are attached at the end of the lecture. All right. Now we are starting with our part 3 of Trade and Commerce. The first SLO is 6.2.4, which states that discuss the effect of changing trends in exports and imports on Pakistan's balance of trade and economy for the last 2 decades only. It means that previously, years like from 1990s till now, we will discuss these 2 decades, and in which context we will discuss? We will discuss it in the context of exports and imports on Pakistan balance of trade and economy. How does it work, and what were the contributions of balance of trade in the previous years, and what is the future and what is the present, right? Introduction. Categories of exports and imports are closely linked to the balance of payment and trade balance, and everything that impact on import and export can impact the trade balance. Now, when we talk about these two things, then obviously we should keep this in mind that import, export, demand, and supply, they all work together. If export is high, right, and import is low, that is also imbalance of payment. Similarly, if demand is high, supply is low, that is also an imbalance of payment. What exactly imbalance of payment is? There is a picture which is given on the left side, which you can see. You can see that the arrow is going downwards. It means downfall. The arrow is not rising up. This is known as imbalance of payment. All right. If international market prices of raw materials are low, and if a country's major export consists of raw materials, then the earning from trade would be relatively low. Now, when I talk about relatively low earning, then it means that, let's suppose this picture over here. How can we construct it in this way? For example, Pakistan is producing raw material and Pakistan is exporting that raw material to another country, like let's suppose America, right? America is an international country, but when we talk about international market, if according to America the price of raw material is low, then we have to sell our product onto that international market price. When we are selling that our product on that international market price, then it means that it is our loss. The revenue which is generated to Pakistan is lesser in amount as compared to the other thing. Now there is one more thing. You have, because you have to sell a high quality product, then definitely whatever you are utilizing money to make that product is higher in amount. So this is how it is relatively low in this context. Now let's move forward. When I talk about introduction, then yes, there are other factors as well which you have to keep in mind. If imports are of manufactured goods, then the balance of trade will be affected. Obviously, you know that if you're importing means that you're asking other countries to give you those products. If you are importing products into your countries, and especially if these products are related to the raw material which you have to create or to complete, then definitely you are in loss. Or you can say that if you're asking for products, then you're paying amount in sense of taxations as well, you're paying amount to that country as well for that raw material. And then after completing that product, if you're selling, then definitely it is something that the low revenue is generated over here. Pakistan has been running consistent trade deficit since 2003. Trade deficit means that imbalance of trade. The balance of trade is not equal. Since 2003, Pakistan is running, and mainly due to high imports of energy. Obviously, we are importing energy into our country from different countries. Let's suppose, let me give you an example. When I talk about oil, then we are taking oil from Iran, and everyone knows that the Pakistan is taking oil from Iran, right? And we are in fact when I talk about electricity, then we are supplying electricity to Balochistan by taking electricity from Iran. So there are other multiple things as well in context of energy, which should be quoted over here, and these are a couple of examples which I've shown you. So when you're importing things, then definitely you're paying taxations as well, and you're paying the resource amount to another country too. Since 2012, China has emerged as Pakistan's largest trading partner, and still China is the largest trading partner of Pakistan. In this context, I'll give example of CPAC, the project which has been started by China, and still it is an ongoing project, but due to coronavirus, that project has been put it at a side. But definitely, when the situation will be better, then they will look upon that what they have to do next together. Now, Pakistan records trade surpluses with the United States, Afghanistan, Germany, and United Kingdom. This example actually highlights you about that how Pakistan is maintaining relations with the other countries into their surrounding, or you can say that all the neighboring countries of Pakistan. Now, when I talk about this figure, so this figure is given into your book of Humanas, which is your geography book. It is in the chapter Trade and Commerce, right? It is situated on page number 173, and the figure number you can see it is written over here 10.11. So you have to go through this figure, which tells you about here. It's written balance of trade, right? Balance of trade, which you can see, and these all are the years that how does balance of trade worked in the previous years, which you can see over here. Now let's discuss this image and then we will move forward. Now when I talk about this figure, all right, just a second, let me come back to this figure. All right, now, when I talk about this figure, then you can see that in 2008 and in 2009, 74% of the total export comprised of manufactured goods. It is contributing, is this contributing a positive balance of trade, which you can see because it is contributing this much, which you can see that. Now, in the same figure, when we see the record of 1990 till 1999, which you can see, it started from 1991 till 1999. So all these years it is going in minus, which you can see that. You can see a negative balance of trade over here. So why are we not getting greater benefits by improving the structure of our exports? Obviously, when it is going in minus marking, and even you can see in thousands as well, in 2001 till 9 it is going in minus marking. First it was minus 2236, and then by 2009 it has increased to minus 9402. So this is why we have to work on balance of payment. If you're not working on balance of payment, then definitely it will result into a very negative context. Now, moving forward, major changes in categories of exports should be simultaneously followed by the changes in categories of imports. It means that if exports are changing their statics, then definitely we have to change the statics of imports as well. Import will consist of high value goods that consume our foreign exchange resources and negatively affect the economy in many different ways. Now, when I talk about import bills means taxation, but you have to follow taxations are of high value goods. Taxations you have to give for high value goods. If the goods are in higher quantity, then definitely you have to pay more taxations that consume our foreign exchange. And this is how our foreign exchange agencies work and negatively affect the economy. Obviously, you're selling product, but definitely the product which you're selling, you're not generating more profit from it, but still you have to pay the whole taxation. So this is how it works, and this is how it is not benefiting. It is not beneficial, but yes, it is creating a different disturbance into this regards. All right. Now, when I talk about point number one, tax based trade restrictions, for example, tariff and quota, you can see that there are tax based restrictions. For example, if you are not paying taxations, then definitely you cannot move forward, as I've mentioned before about it. If you are having contacts which can really help you out, then definitely you have to pay not that much taxes. It means you are having support of all those people, but still if you're not having contacts into the tax department, then it will really help you. First you have to pay all the bills and all the taxations, and then you have to move forward, right? Point number two, difficult to calculate recordings. For example, smuggling plays a very prominent role in the whole industry of the world. Smuggling ratio is higher as compared to any other thing, so you cannot calculate the ratio of smuggling. Point number three, the cost of production, land, labor, capital, taxes, incentives, etc. in the exporting economy. It plays a very important role that before starting up an industry, you have to think about all of these points, you have to list it down, and then you have to see that if you're exporting products to the other economy, then how much money you need, which you can see on the right side of the picture as well. Point number four, the cost and availability of raw materials, intermediate goods, and other inputs, which you can see over here that you need a costed availability of raw materials. If you will be having raw materials, then definitely you can gain the input from there. You're having raw materials, you're selling your products to the other countries, and then you are generating your revenue from there. But if I say that you people are not having raw material, but still you want to sell that out, what product will you sell in that context? All right. Point number five, exchange rate fluctuation. You can see the picture which is labeled above. You can see there is a fluctuation. The ratio is not static. You can't say that it is going smooth. You can see the ratio over here. It is going down and then it's going up. Similarly, you can see ratio first was down, then it was up. So this means that there is always fluctuation. There is they are this is never the same. All right. Point number six, multilateral, bilateral, and unilateral taxations or trade. You have to follow taxations and then you can move forward. Otherwise, they will not give you permission to move forward. Multinational means more than two, bilateral means two, and unilateral means one. Here we are talking about those companies which invest on some product. All right. Number seven, environment and safety standards. First, you can see that obviously you have to work according to that what is exactly the requirement of people, and how can you actually help them, and how can the situation be beneficial for all of them. So these all are the safety measures which you have to keep in consideration while thinking about others in this context.